Pilot podcasts. Here's something that sounds completely backwards, using cannabis to quit cannabis. But that's exactly what thousands of people are doing with CBD flower to break their dependence on high THC weed. Today, we're diving into this fascinating approach, how CBD flower can help manage cannabis withdrawal, what the science actually says about using one cannabinoid to quit another, and practical strategies for tapering down. By the end, you'll understand whether this counterintuitive method could work and how to do it safely. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Can you really use cannabis to quit cannabis? What's happening here scientifically?
It's not as crazy as it sounds when you understand that CBD and THC are completely different compounds with opposite effects. THC directly activates CB1 receptors in your brain, causing that high. CBD works indirectly and doesn't cause intoxication at all.
Right, so we're talking about two totally different experiences here.
Exactly. And here's what's really interesting. According to research from Biology Insights, CBD interacts with the 5-HT1A serotonin receptor, which is associated with managing anxiety. That's huge because anxiety is a major component of cannabis withdrawal.
Wait, cannabis withdrawal? I thought that wasn't really a thing?
Oh, it's absolutely real. For a long time, people dismissed it, but the scientific community increasingly recognizes that consistent, heavy cannabis use leads to withdrawal when you try to stop. Swiss Peak Health describes it as a collection of uncomfortable symptoms that can be profoundly disruptive.
What does that actually look like? What are people experiencing?
The symptoms typically emerge within 1 to 2 days of stopping and peak between days 2 and 6. We're talking heightened anxiety, irritability, restlessness, mood swings. Sleep disturbances are especially common: insomnia, vivid dreams, nightmares that can persist for weeks.
That sounds genuinely awful.
And there are physical symptoms too: decreased appetite, nausea, stomach pain, tremors, sweating, headaches. But the intense cravings are really the hallmark of withdrawal, and that's often what triggers relapse.
So this is where CBD comes in as a potential bridge?
Exactly. CBD assists by interacting with the body's endocannabinoid system. That's the network that helps regulate mood, pain, appetite, and memory. But unlike THC, CBD works indirectly and doesn't cause intoxication.
How does that help with the withdrawal symptoms, though?
Well, according to Science Insights, CBD acts by inhibiting an enzyme called FAAH, which breaks down anandamide. That's a naturally occurring endocannabinoid. By preventing that breakdown, CBD may increase anandamide levels in the brain.
And that helps how exactly?
It enhances the body's natural ability to regulate internal stress and mood. Studies show CBD can reduce measures of stress response, like decreasing cortisol levels and lowering heart rate when people are exposed to substance-related cues.
So it's like giving your natural stress management system a boost while you're going through withdrawal?
That's a great way to put it. And here's something fascinating. Research suggests CBD may dampen the signals that trigger cravings. It's like turning down the volume on those intense urges that often lead to relapse.
Now, I have to ask about the clinical evidence. Is this just theoretical, or do we have actual studies showing it works?
We do have evidence, though it's still early stage. The Lancet published results from the first randomized clinical trial of CBD for cannabis use disorder. Both 400 milligrams and 800 milligrams doses of CBD were safe and more effective than placebo at reducing cannabis use.
That's pretty compelling. What about the practical side? How would someone actually use CBD flower for tapering?
The key is gradual reduction. According to medical guidelines, tapering should happen over at least 7 days rather than abrupt cessation. Many clinicians recommend a structured approach to help the body recalibrate with less shock.
What does that structure look like?
There are 3 main strategies. First, reduce frequency, go from 4 sessions daily to 3, then 2, then 1. Second, reduce quantity, keep the same number of sessions but use smaller amounts. Third, reduce potency.
And that third one is where CBD flower comes in?
Exactly. Many people step down from concentrates to flower, then from high THC flower to balanced THC CBD products, and finally to CBD dominant products. It's like gradually turning down the THC while maintaining the ritual and some of the benefits.
That makes sense. You're not shocking your system by going cold turkey.
Right. And here's something interesting about CBD ratios. High CBD ratios like 10, 1, or 20, 1 produce minimal psychoactive effects. CBD can significantly reduce the high associated with THC while still providing therapeutic benefits.
But wait, I've heard conflicting things about CBD and THC interactions. Doesn't CBD sometimes enhance THC effects?
You're thinking of some recent research from the Netherlands. A double-blind trial found that at very high doses, like 450 milligrams of CBD with 9 milligrams of THC, participants actually felt more high than with THC alone.
So dose matters a lot here?
Absolutely. The researchers suspect high-dose CBD inhibits THC metabolism, making it stay in your system longer. But at lower doses, like what you'd get from CBD flower, this interaction wasn't significant.
That's a crucial distinction. So we're talking about using CBD flower, not massive doses of isolated CBD.
Exactly. And here's what's really important. A study published in the National Library of Medicine suggests CBD doesn't directly lower THC tolerance, but it can be incredibly beneficial during a tolerance break by managing those withdrawal symptoms.
So it's not magically resetting your tolerance, it's just making the process more manageable?
That's exactly right. Think of it as harm reduction rather than a cure. You're giving yourself a softer landing while your endocannabinoid system readjusts to normal THC levels.
What about the legal side of this? Can people actually access CBD flower legally?
This is where it gets interesting. According to Harvard Health, the 2018 Farm Bill made hemp legal in the US, removing all hemp-derived products, including CBD, from the Controlled Substances Act. So CBD is legal if it comes from hemp, even though it's the exact same molecule as CBD from cannabis.
That's such a weird legal distinction. It's like making oranges legal but keeping orange juice illegal, then deciding orange juice is fine if it comes from a specific type of orange tree.
Harvard actually uses that exact analogy. It really highlights how arbitrary some of these legal frameworks are, but the practical result is that CBD flower is widely available in most states.
Let's talk about who should consider this approach. Are there specific signs that someone might benefit from CBD-assisted tapering?
According to cannabis tapering guidelines, it's especially helpful if you use cannabis daily or multiple times per day, rely on high THC products like concentrates, or have repeatedly failed to stop due to sleep or mood symptoms.
What about people who experience strong cravings when they try to stop?
Absolutely. If you experience strong cravings or irritability when trying to stop abruptly, tapering is often preferred. The goal is to let your endocannabinoid system adjust gradually rather than shocking it.
Are there any red flags where people should definitely seek professional help instead of trying this on their own?
Yes, definitely. If you have a history of panic attacks, severe depression, bipolar disorder, psychosis, or seizures, you should consult a licensed clinician before making major changes. Same if you use cannabis to manage a diagnosed medical condition.
That makes sense. What about the timeline? How long does this process typically take?
Medical guidelines suggest beginning tapering at least 7 days before planned discontinuation. A typical schedule might be a 25% reduction in the first week, another 25 to 50% reduction in the second week, with adjustments based on how you're feeling.
And the withdrawal symptoms, how long do those typically last?
Cannabis withdrawal symptoms typically begin 24-48 hours after cessation, peak between days 2-6, and can last up to 3 weeks in heavy users. But with proper tapering, you can significantly reduce the intensity of those symptoms.
3 weeks is a long time to feel awful. So CBD flower could potentially make that much more manageable?
That's the idea. And here's something encouraging. According to research from Frontiers in Pharmacology, CBD has a remarkable safety profile with no reinforcing properties. The World Health Organization found no evidence of abuse or dependence potential.
So you're not just trading one dependency for another?
Exactly. A study in neuropsychopharmacology concluded that acute CBD alone is unlikely to significantly impair daily functioning or workplace performance. It's not creating new problems while solving old ones.
What about people who are skeptical about this approach? What would you say to someone who thinks it sounds too good to be true?
I'd say the research is promising but still early stage. This isn't a magic bullet, it's one tool in a broader harm reduction approach. The key is having realistic expectations and potentially working with a healthcare provider.
And what about the quality control issues? How do people know they're getting consistent CBD flower?
That's a real concern. Research notes that quality, labeling accuracy, and dosing consistency vary widely in the CBD market. It's important to source from reputable suppliers who provide third-party lab testing.
So when you step back from all this research and evidence, what's the real takeaway here?
The real takeaway is that cannabis withdrawal is a legitimate medical phenomenon that affects millions of people, and CBD offers a promising tool for managing it. But it's not a standalone solution. It works best as part of a structured tapering approach.
And it challenges this old narrative that cannabis isn't addictive, right?
Absolutely. The science is clear that heavy, regular use can lead to dependence and withdrawal. But that doesn't mean people are doomed. It means we need better tools and strategies for those who want to change their relationship with cannabis.
What I find fascinating is how this flips the script on cannabis being either all good or all bad. It's more nuanced than that.
Exactly. Different cannabinoids have different effects and different therapeutic potential. CBD flower represents this more sophisticated understanding of how these compounds can be used strategically.
For someone listening who's thinking about trying this approach, what's the most important thing they should know?
Start slow, be patient with the process, and don't hesitate to seek professional guidance if you need it. This isn't about willpower, it's about giving your brain chemistry time to readjust with the right support.
And remember, using cannabis to quit cannabis isn't as backwards as it sounds when you understand the science behind different cannabinoids and how they affect your brain differently.
Thanks for joining us on Copilot Podcasts. The next time someone tells you that cannabis withdrawal isn't real, you'll know better, and you'll understand there are evidence-based approaches to make the process more manageable.